いや、マジで緊張しすぎだよ。I'm hoping you guys can hear this right now. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. Good evening to everyone on this side of the planet, and a very good morning to those of you living on the other side, in places such as Canada and the United States. Massive thank you if you chose to stay awake, or wake up early for this, but please don't feel obliged to stick around if you need to sleep. There will be an archive available, so... And I'll try to keep it too short. Well, not too short. Relatively short. So you won't miss out on too much if you need to leave. 日本語上手ですね。ありがとうございます。Everyone else, thanks again for tuning in. I do apologize to everyone who has the notification bell turned on for my channel, because you probably just got a notification for this stream even though it's not a new video. But I'm probably only going to do this once, so please forgive me. And yeah, anyway, let's get kind of the big thing out the way first before we dive into the Q&A and marshmallows for the stream, which is a big thank you from me for 5,000 subscribers and 1 year of activities on this YouTube channel. Oh, it's on the back. That's fine. We'll keep chat in the front. But as you can see, I haven't really made a lot of videos compared to a lot of people on YouTube. How many people watching? 30 people watching. That's not too bad. Good evening, everyone. Hey Jay, your voice is really nice, thank you. Tuning in from Indonesia. Good afternoon from the UK, good evening from Vietnam. Thanks for tuning in. But, how long should I do this for? I'm gonna aim for less than an hour, so we're just gonna kind of go through a couple of things as well as kind of a list of marshmallows that I have sitting in my inbox at the moment. So, it's gonna be quite a chill stream, we're not gonna do anything too crazy, so as always, don't feel like you're missing out on too much if you need to go catch like another VTuber stream. I say another VTuber, but I'm not a VTuber myself. So if you need to watch someone else, feel free and come back when you feel like. But first of all, I brought alcohol. So, wait, I have this on stream too. I put it in the tweet, but I said to bring alcohol, but of course, only if you're of age. If you're not of age, then it's probably not a good idea to be drinking. And if you're in the US, it's probably not a great idea to be drinking if it's 8 in the morning. But this is what I bought today. But you're 17. Hi. I wonder if I can put it... Nah, it's kind of too big. But where should I leave it? I'll leave it here. It looks like I'm drinking this from a straw, but I'm not. Okay. Once again, thank you very much for 5,000 subs and 1 year of activities on this channel. Cheers! That wasn't very... I should get like an ASMR mic. Do this. I don't drink that often now that I think about it. But I'll leave this off to the side. I wonder how... I bought 2. I wonder if I can even finish 1. But... drinking sounds. Neko-chan kawaii desho? I'll make my YouTube screenshot a bit smaller. So chat's a bit easier to read. But yeah, as you can see, I started off doing like Sanbaka related videos back then, like a year ago. Who else was translating around this time? I think the only person I remember doing NIJISANJI videos was probably like Roll Cake Boy and maybe 1 or 2 other translators. But around like May or June last year, it was really dead in terms of the English translated community. But I don't even really remember why I chose to kind of start when I did. But anyway, we won't go too far into that because I'm pretty sure someone mentioned it in one of the marshmallows I received anyway, so... Let me just bring them up. I'll go through them in the order that I received them because some have been sitting here for like 2 months. So I'm really apologetic to people that actually sent questions in when I asked them to be sent, because I ended up not answering them. Let's see. Also, how's the volume of like BGM and everything? Oh my god, I'm so nervous. 大先輩じゃん。いやいや。大丈夫。That's good. The lag isn't too bad either. It's only like 4 or 5 seconds. Okay. Hi. Let's hide the YouTube first. So number 1, what's the software used for captioning PUCHISANJI, and any tips for starter subtitling other people's video? So the software I use is something that's pretty standard across kind of fan subbing, is a software called AegisSub, so AEGISUB. Don't have a screenshot of kind of the software itself on me at the moment, but if you Google it, you can find it quite easily. It's pretty standard, relatively intuitive to use. PUCHISANJI itself is a bit complicated. Well, not complicated, but there's a bit more involved in doing captions for PUCHISANJI as well, because it requires conversion into a format that YouTube can read, which I use a tool called YT Subconverter, which you can also find on Google. It's a free tool. So I know a lot of people use like Premiere Pro and After Effects to sub, but I've always used AegisSub, which means I probably can't do a lot of the fancy effects and stuff that other people are using. So my subs are actually really boring and really plain to watch, which is why I try to focus on kind of the content or the dialogue that I'm doing instead of, you know, making all the... It really depends on what you're trying to sub as well. Like for me, I don't really pick... I guess the style of content that I choose to do isn't really similar to what kind of like the clips that we tend to see of like funny moments and stuff like that, where there's a lot of emphasis on like movement of subtitles and like fancy effects and things like that and cuts. Like, whereas I try to pick out things that tell a story and kind of arrange my scenes in a way that when you watch the video from start to finish, you kind of get like, oh yeah, I get the point of kind of this video and how it fits into like the context of what the you know, most recently with like Skotomo videos and stuff like that. I guess the story that I've been trying to kind of get across with my videos of them has been really much like how their relationship is developing. So that's kind of how I see myself as different to other subbers who might be more interested in pushing out like, this is a funny scene, or like, that's a funny scene, and like short clips, which is fine. Like I should probably do that too, but I've gotten to the point where it's getting a bit difficult to, well, for me, because I'm kind of OCD on like what I want to put on the channel, to put like, now that I've done like an hour video, it feels weird to do like a 5-minute video right after that, if you get what I mean. And I see you guys talking about this in Discord. Talk about it in YouTube chat. So there's a couple of people that are watching this right now that I'm friends with from other fandoms and stuff like that. So we're in Discord servers and stuff like that. But if you talk in Discord, then it makes my stream look really dead. But yeah. Anyway. Any tips for starter subtitling other people's video? Kind of depends on what kind of videos that you want to do and what your level is at the moment. Like, yeah, it's a bit too broad of a question, and like I could start from like getting better at Japanese could be a tip, or you know, if you're already relatively experienced with subtitling people's videos, then I can give more specific tips for that. So, chat rules: no talking about unrelated topics to other VTubers. We can technically call this a first live then. I guess so. But yeah, okay. Next question. I've got quite a few of these, so hopefully I can make it through all of them within the next 50 minutes or so. Next. This was from way back. Since you're also a fan of Hoshikawa Sara, would you happen to know more about the Sara-Matsuri situation? Not really. This was from like at least a month and a half ago, I think. But I don't know if we've heard much about these two in particular since then, but yeah. I know that just kind of watching the comment sections and stuff like that, that the whole kind of dynamic between these two had some people not very happy at Hoshikawa for, you know, how she treats Matsuri and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm pretty sure they know what they're getting into, especially like Matsuri and stuff like that. But yeah, I do feel for her, and like I don't really follow her or like watch her Twitcast and stuff like that. But from what I've heard, it seems that she does like her quite a lot. So, for those that don't know, I'm probably not the best person to talk about this, but from what it seems, at least, Matsuri is quite serious about liking Hoshikawa as potentially more than a friend. But obviously, well, not obviously, but Hoshikawa is into guys. So if you hear like strange sounds from my stream right now, it's because I fiddle with my beer can. So but yeah, and there were a couple, I think on Twitcast or like on stream, she was like, she likes her so much that it actually makes her cry when she thinks about it, which is kind of sad, but I can kind of understand how that happens when you like someone so much. So beer can ASMR. Speaking of ASMR, there's like 2 ASMR streams on right now, so I apologize for picking like the worst possible time to be streaming if you're into ASMR. Sir, that's you, Skotomo. No, it's not. Okay, next question. Jesus Christ, your voice is sexy. Thank you. Next. Why the username J? It's... Let's just say that part of my real name has a J in it somewhere. Classic question. So people that knew me from before, there's another question about this as well later on, about kind of what I was doing before this, but I've been translating for a while before VTuber stuff as well. So that's why there are a couple of people in chat that kind of know me from back then and kind of before last year. So don't feel too left out if they start talking about something that's not probably not common knowledge. So it's easy to remember. It's easy to remember, but it's really bad for like search engine optimization. Like if you try to search my channel on YouTube, you'll never find it unless you search for like Skotomo or like Sanbaka or something like that. What's the real identity of the famous virtual idol J-chan? Konbanwa, konbanwa. Hi. Tsugi. I haven't read through like all of these questions, so quite a few of these I'm gonna have to think on the spot. So if I'm like not saying anything for a couple of seconds, I'm thinking, because my brain works really slow because I'm old. Feels bad. Okay, firstly, thank you for your translation clips. As an ex-translator for a fan sub, I know when someone had put their heart into subbing or not, and you did a really good job. Thank you. Personally, I think oh boy. Personally, I think NIJISANJI Liver have better content and more interesting than a certain other. I'm just gonna say LoveLive. It's fine. But the translated clip is far more less because they're not popular to foreigner. What a waste. Well, thanks again for translating NIJISANJI stuff, especially Sanbaka. Stay safe and have a nice day. This... Yeah, I mean, I'm not like pro NIJISANJI, like pro LoveLive, one or the other. I actually watch quite a lot of stuff that's not NIJISANJI as well, so like even just then, well, a couple of hours ago, I was watching Matsuri second year anniversary live, with Suisei as guest. So that was really good. So I'm not really like, you know, NIJISANJI only or like LoveLive or like anti-LoveLive and stuff like that. I think everyone gets to choose what they want to watch, and there's not really any reason to be like, I only watch NIJISANJI or I only watch LoveLive. So there's a lot of really good content out there from kind of even independents as well. So there's no reason to kind of lock yourself into NIJISANJI or LoveLive. But yeah, so this is anonymous, so yeah, people send stuff in. I don't know who it comes from. These are not the opinions of myself. What appears on these messages, obviously, so please, no angel. But yeah, thanks for the message though. Next question. Not really a question, but I would like to thank you for all the hard work and effort you put into subbing for us. Oh, and please marry me. I don't know if you're a guy or a girl, but it doesn't matter. You're right, it doesn't matter because we live in 2020. So, if you're a guy or a girl, I can be whatever you want. Actually, no, I'm a guy. Sorry. Is that a faint Australian accent? Yes, it is. I am from Australia. Is this Tete? Okay, next question. 誰よそのな Do you have any hobbies unrelated to Japanese/translating? Happy anniversary and congrats on 5,000 subscribers. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. I do. My other main hobby right now is probably cars. I've been into cars for probably as long as I can drive, which is quite a while now, so I can't do too much with cars because it's quite an expensive hobby. So yeah, what else do I like? Oh, PC building. So I'm quite into technology and building PCs, I guess. So I haven't done that for a while too because PC parts are stupidly expensive right now, especially graphics cards. But yeah, that's kind of my other hobby. It's not that obvious, is it? Well, I don't know. I'm not. My age isn't too big of an issue. I think I'm not like super old, but I'm not super young either. So why can't I super chat? Because you should be spending your money on the VTubers you like instead. Let's play GTA. I need to play more games. I keep saying I should play games, but I never end up actually playing games. So like, I built a gaming PC and I played like probably 10 hours worth of games in total in like a year. Joji-san. No, not Joji-san, unfortunately. What's your dream car, Jay? That's a good question. Something that I think there's like different tiers of dream cars. There's like cars that you can realistically afford, and then there's like your dream car that you can probably never afford in this lifetime. For something that's like relatively within reach, maybe in the next like, I don't know, 10 years, maybe like a Porsche Cayman GT4 would be pretty nice. But not right now, because it's too expensive. But okay, next question. Just want to let you know that I really appreciate you. Your videos are the reason I found out about Tsukutomo and they brought me joy. Your blog also makes me laugh with commentary, so to make it short, you brought me joy as well. Thank you, and I hope you stay happy and healthy. Thank you very much. This was pretty interesting because like the way that I write my blogs makes it seem like a report. Like it's really, I guess I do add a bit of commentary here and there, but when I'm writing like my blog posts, I'm like, who's gonna read this stuff? Because it's really like matter of fact, and I try to kind of put down things as they happen or as I hear them. So like I scroll through my blogs and I'm like, holy crap, this is a lot of really dry content. So it's really surprising that people actually read my blog. And what else? My latest blog post about kind of like the history lesson from start to finish of NIJISANJI Seikikombi, I was really surprised that kind of had the reach that it did. It had like 200 retweets, no, not retweets, but like 200 likes and 50, 70 retweets. Even Taka from NIJISANJI Indonesia retweeted. I was like, holy shit. But yeah, I really thought that blog post was only gonna be kind of relevant to people that really followed Kanasuku and Tomoe, but it was really surprising to see that, you know, people that didn't really know much about them also kind of enjoying that blog post as well. So thank you for everyone that read that. But yeah. And I guess for me as well, a lot of it's like being able to kind of go back and be like, oh yeah, this is when they said this, or like this is when they said that. It comes in handy sometimes when I'm thinking about like whether or not I'm remembering something right. So it helps for like later on if I need to fact check something, like when did they say this and stuff like that. One thing I've been really lazy with though is putting timestamps in, because like I just type as I listen, and like if I need to put in timestamps, like I'm gonna have to like go over, pause it, and then try to find the correct timestamp. But so that's what I've been meaning to do from the start, but I've only done that like once, so I apologize for that. But probably the best way to consume the blog I would recommend is, if your Japanese is okay, or like if you can at least pick out like sentences, like where sentences start and finish and stuff like that, then it's probably best to just like leave the blog open and listen along. That way you can kind of pick out like, oh yeah, they're talking about this point, or you know, they're talking about this right now. So but yeah. And yeah, and the main thing is that it lets me get a lot more information out a lot quicker, because like to do a 2-hour blog might take me like, you know, 3 hours to do, but imagine how long it takes to do a 2-hour video if I wanted to sub the whole thing. So which would take like, you know, probably a week or two. So it's probably the most efficient in terms of effort required to disseminate information. So that's why I kind of chose to start the blog. Okay, next question. Hi Jay, I'm also a big fan of Ratna. It's tricky to read this name in English, because like the way that you read it in English isn't actually the way that you're meant to read it, because her name's actually like romanized but written in Japanese, so it's like Ratna Petit, but you read it, you're like, well, Petit is an English name, well, like not name, but like an English kind of word. So just joined, didn't expect you to have such a cool voice. Thank you. It's kind of normal voice. While you stream? This is the first time I'm streaming, so yeah, Petit French, but I mean like, I guess romanized into like something that you could potentially read in English. So anyway, I'm a big fan of her ASMR streams, although I can never catch them live due to being overseas. She has one on right now, by the way, so if anyone's interested, feel free to check that out and like ditch this stream if you need to, because mine's not that important, but ASMR is really good. Do you have any favorite / funny moments that you particularly remember from her? Many thanks for your hard work translating all this wonderful VTuber content. Her latest, not the one right now, but her previous ASMR stream was really good, because she had to try at least like 3 or 4 times to get that stream actually up and running. So by then she had just given up. So instead of actually like doing kind of proper like sleep ASMR, she was just messing around the whole stream. So that was a really fun stream to watch. Not if you're actually trying to fall asleep, but if you just want to get like, understand that part of her personality, it's really funny. So but yeah, congrats on the 1 year, so this is my recommended. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Feel free to hang around if you have time. If not, that's totally fine. The only ASMR I have here is Tomoe Mikoto. The ASMR stream when she actually fell asleep, yes, that was awesome as well. So I really like her ASMR in particular. And like, you might not get this unless you're really into ASMR and stuff like that. But her ASMR has like the right balance between noise and like silence, if that makes sense, especially for sleep, because you don't want something that's like too noisy if you're trying to sleep, but she has like the right repetition of like noises that are like gentle enough for you to actually fall asleep, and she doesn't really talk too much. So I totally recommend it if you're looking to start ASMR for sleep. Yeah, avatar / profile pic looks nice, thank you. Just curious, what time is it over there? I actually have a clock in the bottom left of the stream that tells you what time it is over here in GMT plus 10. Jason is an ASMR connoisseur. That would not be incorrect. But yes. Once again, thank you for this Marshmallow. Let's move on to the next one. It's been 26 minutes, holy shit. We're almost halfway. Alright. How do you feel about the explosive growth of VTubers, especially on the EN side? So, this is probably something that's quite interesting to talk about. And I guess it depends on... Well, there's a lot of things to think about when it comes to like the growth of VTubers on the EN side. I guess the most obvious being that... Well, the most obvious that's visible is, I guess, the presence of EN comments or like English comments in VTuber streams. And I know that that's been kind of like a point of contention for a while now, where VTuber streams that once used to be kind of all Japanese comments and stuff like that, you start getting like sometimes unnecessary or like unwanted English comments in chat and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the one, I wouldn't say, well, that in itself is a, like that specifically is probably a downside to the explosive growth of VTubers on the EN side, but like that also brings kind of good things with it as well, obviously being that they have a bigger audience and they have more opportunities for kind of global growth. So yeah, and I guess the other perspective from this question, if you look at this from like the growth of EN VTubers, like people, like English people, not English people, but people doing VTuber activities in English, that's probably the other perspective that you could look at this question from. I think it's pretty good, but I think the term VTuber itself is also kind of obsolete in a way, because in a lot of ways, back when VTuber started being a thing, like it was very much virtual YouTuber, and like YouTuber comes with the idea of you do things that a normal VTuber would do, like you make videos, you know, you sing and you do that skits and stuff like that. But now, well, not now, like, but ever since like a year and a half ago or like 2 years ago, you know, whenever virtual streamers became kind of like the big thing, the whole kind of concept of VTuber has changed. So, and now like you get a lot of people that are just donning virtual avatars but aren't really YouTubers. So yeah, and I guess it's good that we're seeing it grow in the English side, because it, for the, I guess for very much the same reasons why it was good in the JP side, because it brings a lot more talent to surface, for especially from people who may not have been as comfortable with showing their face, because now they don't have to worry about what they look like in real life and stuff like that, but still have a way to kind of visually express themselves on stream, which is why I guess it has such a big appeal in JP as well. So I think it's a good thing. And yeah, so yeah, there's kind of like a lot to discuss about this question in particular, especially if you look at it from like the pros and cons of having kind of international exposure of JP VTubers, or if you're talking about whether or not it's a good thing that we're seeing the same kind of, with the same medium of, I guess, content spreading to the West, but for Western content creators to also take up as a means to express themselves. But anyway, we won't talk about that too much this time, unless there's kind of more specific questions that we can dive into. You could write a blog post on it. Yeah, that's right. Alright, next. Where is it? How did you become a VTuber fan? Probably back in like, how long ago was this? Probably end of 2017 when Kaguya Luna first kind of became a thing. So that's probably when I started following VTubers kind of as a whole. Before that, there was obviously like Kizunai and stuff like that, but I didn't really get too much into Kizunai back then. But Kaguya Luna really hooked me, and then from there, we saw the explosive growth of kind of skit type, short video type VTubers, and it's been kind of history since. I didn't get into NIJISANJI and like the streaming type VTubers until I found Hiuchi Kaede and her Shiawase Oekaki no Mori Haishin and stuff like that. But this was way back in like Mira TV days when they still streamed on that app. So that was quite a while ago as well. And then from there was like Tsuki no Mito and finding I reckon what probably like propelled Tsuki no Mito into like mainstream was the 10-minute video of like, you know, understand Tsuki no Mito in 10 minutes. So that was really good. But now thinking about it, it's been so long and they've really come so far since then. Especially the first gen cursed videos. So yeah. Alright, so this question I mentioned a bit before about how there are people here that kind of know me from before I started doing VTuber stuff. I was quite involved, well not quite involved, but like I had some involvement in the fan subbing for LoveLive. So especially on, I guess, I did a couple of Muse videos for Nanjo's radio, and most of my content was Aqua, however. So if I don't know how many people in chat are actually, you know, LoveLive Seiyu fans and stuff like that, but if you are a fan of Aqua, you've probably seen, or a fan of Aqua Seiyu, then you might have seen some of my videos from my other channel, so I felt your name was there with the LL fandom. Yeah, I did have another Twitter account, but I deleted that like way back as well, so you may or may not have heard of me in the past. But yeah, I still have a couple of friends in that fandom, so that's why there are people that know me from there. But as for how I feel about LoveLive now, I think I dropped out of it when I stopped listening to the music. And yeah, I think the main draw of it was the music, and once I stopped listening to that, then I stopped caring about, you know, the content and the seiyuu and stuff like that, unfortunately. So I don't really feel about it one way or another. I still have like LoveLive goods that I need to get rid of at some point in time before I move, so. Okay, next question. Boy, ain't this ASMR good. Are you talking about my stream or like Petit's ASMR stream? No, I didn't stop listening to music as a whole, but I stopped listening to like LoveLive music, like idol music, if that makes sense. I respect bilingualist. Thank you very much. J ASMR when? Who would listen though, honestly? Okay. Us. Yeah. You guys. There's a lot better ASMR out there that you should listen to. But one thing that really surprised me was like, at first I was like, oh yeah, everyone that's doing ASMR on YouTube must be girls, right? But I was so wrong. I looked up videos of like, well, I just went to check, right, whether or not there were videos or like channels of like guys doing ASMR, and they are huge channels. Like they get like 1 million views. I'm like, holy crap. But yeah, so that was a market that I didn't know existed. 女性向け yeah. イケボイスだけどありがとうございます。There is a market, yeah. One thing I've been thinking of doing though is I do like to stream, but like obviously I don't want to abuse the fact that I have kind of people that have turned on notifications and stuff like that. Obviously people subscribe to my channel for translations, and I don't want to turn this into like a streaming channel and kind of, you know, mislead my audience essentially. So I've been trying to think of like how else can I stream, and like what else I could potentially stream, even though like I'm not a VTuber or anything like that. But so I was thinking maybe Twitcast. We can, I don't know, maybe I can like, a lot of times that I feel like streaming are when I'm in bed, like before I fall asleep. I'm like, I could stream right now and just kind of chat to people. So yeah, that's something I might do. Okay, next. ゆりぷるさん、動画好きで見てます。英語を勉強するのに役立ってます。ありがとうございます。My Japanese is really bad when I'm like not prepared, so I apologize in advance. J to cast bedtime with Jay. That sounds like a really good title. But yeah, if you would be interested in like tuning in for that kind of stuff, that would be amazing. But I wouldn't be saying anything. Like, I wouldn't be talking about anything important anyway. It would literally just be like chatting before I fall asleep. Next question. Where am I? Oh, here it is. I always hear that Aussie internet is shit, so I'm surprised you can see. It's bad in some places. It's not too bad now. I'm really lucky in that I have fiber to the premise, so I have like 100 meg to my house essentially via fiber, so it's not too bad. But there are places where it's atrocious. So Matsuri starts with cast. 5 hours of soft breathing noises. We'll see. I might trial it and see what happens. I like how like when you stream onto a cast, like the audio sounds really close. I don't know if it's because like everyone's streaming from like iPhones and stuff like that, but yeah. Anyway, we might try it someday and see what happens. Anyway, this question says, what do you love most about Crossick and about Sanbaka? Congratulations for the 5k subs. Thank you. I think what I love most about Crossick is the fact that they don't hide anything. Well, they do obviously to some degree, but the relationship is really public to the point where it kind of makes me go, is this actually a good thing or a bad thing? Like, so Crossick is what NIJISANJI sei kombi are now called. So this refers to Skoyakana and Shiaki Tomoe. So that's probably like, it's a really unique perspective into kind of like the personal life of two people. And it's probably not a good thing in retrospect, but for us, in like entertainment value, it's really entertaining to watch and it makes you want to support them. So that's probably what I love the most about them, as well as the fact that they're really loving. And like, not only that, like they actually try and solve their problems without, there's not a lot of like toxicity in their relationship, and you can tell that they're going about the whole thing in like a really mature, logical way. So it's not like a teenage relationship. Like it's not like an 18-year-old relationship. It's, you know, two people who have been through stuff, who know kind of what to expect and how to work through things, actually kind of getting together and yeah, approaching a relationship in a very mature way. So I sometimes wonder if they're actually dating IRL. So that's something that's kept intentionally vague. I think the only people that can answer that are, well, the only way that you can really find an answer to that is if you actually consume their content, and then you can make a decision for yourself. So do you follow / know anyone else that's similar to Crossick? We're gonna get to that later. I think I have a question for that. Are you gonna make more of Shirayuki and Sequoia videos? I am indeed. So I've meant to have started on a video already, but I haven't yet because I was working on this stream. So I will start one tomorrow and hopefully finish it by next week. But yeah. Next question. Oh, Sanbaka. Sanbaka's really, I guess, I haven't watched them recently, but from the start I really like them because of their dynamic between, like, obviously Lisa, Anji, and Inui. Even though that Lisa and Anji were like, they've been friends for a long time, and even though Inui was like kind of like a newcomer into the picture, like they're really accepting of her, and they just have a really fun, like, open dynamic. So when you watch them, you just can't help but have fun, essentially. So Sanbaka is friendship goals, exactly. Do you feel more botchy after you watch their interactions? Not really, honestly. Like, to the point where, like, if I'm watching them, like, I don't feel like I need to, you know, it's not like I don't watch them and feel like, oh, I'm so lonely. Like, if anything, watching them kind of fills my heart with joy, to the point where, like, I don't feel like I need to go out and find, like, a relationship or something like that, which is in the long run probably really, like, unhealthy. But that's what I feel. Yeah, Sanbaka is definitely like watching a comedy trio at most times. Alright, next question is kind of long. It says, I remember your behind the scenes video of you taking notes about a Twitcast at like 3 AM. So when do you sleep? Good question. When do you wake up? What does a regular weekday look like for you? You do some amazing and much appreciated work, especially for those of us who want to check out more about Crossick content but don't understand Japanese. But please don't forget to take care of yourself. Bonus question, did you submit a name for Crossick? If so, what name? So I didn't submit a name. My naming sense absolutely sucks. Like, I would struggle to name like a cactus plant. I'll probably name something stupid like Bob. But anyway, when do I sleep? My sleep schedule is kind of unconventional and it's not very healthy. I cannot recommend it to anyone else, but basically I work pretty much a normal job from 8 to about 4:30. I get home about 5 and I'm probably awake for like another hour before I take a nap. So, and then I sleep from like probably 6 to about 10 p.m. and then I'm awake until about probably 3, and then I sleep again until 7. So it doesn't make sense, but I sleep twice essentially. So I still get like 8 hours of sleep, but it's just broken into 2. So, hi honkers. He says, fuck, I almost forgot about this daily chase on all of you. Thank you. But yeah, so my sleep is really kind of broken up. Are you going to get into Kibara? Probably not. I do know, kind of by now, like I know everyone and what they do and kind of what their perks are and stuff like that. So anyone that I'm not into already, I'm probably not going to kind of get into, especially, well, when it comes to NIJISANJI at least. But that being said, Kibara is definitely great. She has a lot of really entertaining content, so definitely check her out if you haven't already. Next question. So that's what a regular weekday looks like for me. And then over the weekend I kind of reset and I sleep like a normal person again. And then it breaks again the next week. So 1周年おめでとうございます。クロッシー以外に RIP 正規コンビ好きなカップルはいますか？はい、あります。なんだっけ、ハニーワークス公式歌い手さんの琴葉さんとハノンさんが好きです。ガチで付き合ってるかどうかは分かんないんですけど、数ヶ月前から同居してるみたいで、いつもツイキャスとかで配信中でイチャイチャしてますし、歌もめっちゃ上手だし、気になった方はぜひチェックしてみてください。はい、以上です。So, for people that didn't understand, I don't know how many of like you actually understand Japanese, but I'm gonna assume probably quite a few. But Honeyworks have a couple of like official daite or like singers essentially. So, and 2 of them, well, they're called Kotoha and Hano. So they've been living together for a couple months, and they are just really precious. So I don't know if they're actually dating or not. They're probably not, but they're still really cute, so you should totally watch them. They do Twitcast streams, and they also stream on YouTube as well. So check them out. They are really cute. Do you have an accent in Japanese? I think I do. It's hard to tell. That speed changed from JP and Ian. Yeah. should link their channels. I'll do it later, but they are really good. If you listen to like Honeywork songs, you've probably heard them singing before. So, okay, next. This is a pretty fitting question, given that I just answered something in Japanese. But it says, are you Japanese or mixed? When did you start learning Japanese, and how did you learn Japanese? So, first, I guess, answer the first part of the question is no, I'm actually not Japanese, nor am I mixed. I am just a normal foreigner. When did you start learning Japanese, and how did you learn Japanese? So, the line break on the second line, how did you learn J? So I started learning Japanese in school, actually. So I was lucky enough where the school that I went to had classes for Japanese, so I could take them as part of my normal studies. So I did that for probably 5 years in class, where we probably have like 3 or 4 lessons of Japanese a week. And after that, I graduated from high school, and I just I didn't really continue in earnest. Like, I didn't study after that, but I did pick up translating from my knowledge there. And then I started thinking about, maybe I should start actually doing like JLPT and stuff like that. So that's when I chose to actually like buy books and actually study. So that's how I started learning Japanese, I guess. So, anime is super powerful. It's super powerful motivation to learn Japanese. Yeah, I wasn't actually that much into anime back then. It was more so like, it's funny because a lot of people kind of, when they picked Japanese in school, were obviously like really big anime fans and stuff like that, but I actually didn't really watch anime back then in school. So it wasn't until like I graduated from high school and went to university that I started picking up anime again, and then I ended up getting into LoveLive, and that's when I started translating like Seiyu content and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so I guess I've probably got quite a couple of years. I was about to give a figure. It's like how many years of actual Japanese like experience I have, and then I realized it would actually expose my age, so I'm not gonna say it. So you should just have to guess. We call that chunibyo. No. I wonder about this. How and where did you find translation about hogen? I guess you just learn it. I guess, because there are kind of really obvious differences when you listen to someone speaking like Kansai Ben, for example, or versus normal speech. So in some ways you just kind of pick it up as you go, and then you realize, oh yeah, when they say this they actually mean this and stuff like that. 40, 10, 17, 17, 17. And yeah, 50. I'm not that old. Okay. My age still starts with 2, so I'm still alright. But yeah. Next question. 黒歴史聞きたいな。学生時代の黒歴史はあんまりないかな。I actually can't think of any off the top of my head. So this is asking like if I have any like, I guess, history, like dark history or like a dark past or like something I've done, something stupid I've done in the past essentially that I don't want to share. But I actually can't really think of anything that comes to mind at the moment. Spill it. I'm gonna tell this story in English because my Japanese sucks. But the first time I was in Japan, this isn't really kurorekishi, it's just like an embarrassing story, right? So the first time I was in Japan, I went to kind of like a family restaurant for the first time, and I ordered and I paid like as usual, and then they handed me like a tray, like the food tray that you meant to put your food on, right? And I was like, okay, like what am I meant to do with this? And because like there's nothing on the tray. They literally just give you the tray after you finish ordering, and I'm like, okay. So after like a couple of seconds, I was like, am I meant to like bring this to my seat? And like I started walking away from the counter, and they're like, no, come back. Like they're like, what the hell is this guy doing? But basically what I was meant to do was I was meant to like take the tray from the waitress or like from the cashier, and then like wait next to the counter and like put it on the counter so that they can put the food on the tray, and I can take the tray with the food on it to my seat. Which makes no sense, because like if it was in any other country, right? Like in here, for example, like you order, right? And then they put the tray with the food on it already, and then they give it to you, and then you take the tray with the food and you take it to your seat. Doesn't that just make more sense? But anyway, so the lady was just like, what the fuck? Like, is this guy okay? But anyway. 英語難しい。すいません、本当に。My Japanese isn't good enough to kind of like explain the story in English, or in Japanese, I mean. But yeah, why don't they let you wait and give you the food along with tray? Exactly, right? Like that's how it works here. That's how it works anywhere. It's not in Japan. I don't understand why. Anyway, that's the reason why I can never show my face again in Loteria in Ikebukuro. But yeah, that was a couple of years ago. That was quite a while ago, actually. But yeah, that was just embarrassing. So it wasn't like, you know, devastating or anything like that. That was just like one of the many screw ups, like in kind of anyone's first trip to Japan. Especially like people that, like if you know Japanese to like a certain extent, and you go to Japan, like you have to actually use your Japanese. And the first time you go to Japan and you try to use your Japanese is gonna have like the most embarrassing like fails. That's just how it is. You just... Does that cat character behind you have a name? No, it doesn't. Maybe I should give it a name. That is culture, maybe. Yeah, you're right. When I do something embarrassing in one place, you bet you'll never see me there again until next year. Let alone next year, I'm never gonna go there ever again. It hurts too much. Name it C. I still don't know how to order food properly at a fast food place in Japan. So, yeah, it's hard. Yeah. Ordering food is hard. Like, I'll order food at like a restaurant and stuff like that, fine, but I reckon fast food places are just difficult. Just point at menu. カタカナの発音が難しい。そうだね。そうだよね。You're like trying to read something that's English, but written in Japanese, but it's actually English, and you're like, can I just... And you can't just read it out in English either, because like if you read it out in English, they're not gonna understand you, because it's not in katakana. Okay, next. I don't really have anything to ask, just want to say I'm very grateful for Crossick and other VTuber translations, PUCHISANJI series included. Thank you. So, if you look at my channel, it looks like I've done like no work, but if you actually count how many PUCHISANJI videos that I've actually done, it's like 63 or something. So sometimes like to feel better about myself, I'm like, oh look at all this PUCHISANJI I've subbed. So yeah, it's good that I guess people kind of acknowledge that. I do have to apologize that it's not very consistent though, like in release times. That's like the one thing I'm not too happy with, is the fact that like I'll submit subtitles, but like they obviously don't get approved straight away. And sometimes if I'm lucky, they get approved the next day. If not, they get approved like the next week, essentially. So that's why you don't see like subtitles coming out in any like regular fashion, because that's just how it is, unfortunately. So do you still do all the PUCHISANJI by yourself, or is it someone who works along with you? So I'm currently the only person doing it, but that may or may not change in the near future. So I don't know if there's anyone else that kind of asked about this, but I don't think there is. But basically, if you remember a couple of months back, there were recruitments open for official translators and video editors for NIJISANJI, right? So I know there have been people asking what's happened to that. Like, being that it's been quite a while and people are like, so did they choose to actually do anything about this or not? Or, yeah, so, and like, I'm actually not part of that program. Like, I didn't apply for one, so, but I do believe that there's going to be some movement in that space soon. So keep your eyes peeled, and you'll probably hear some news in the not too distant future. So, ホライブ好き？うん、割と好き。星町水材さんが好き。それと姉町も好きです。I don't watch them too often though. I should probably watch them more. But yeah. So, the leaks. I didn't leak anything. Harimaki just made a live 2D version of Crossick Art, the one with both them on Wiki. Really? I should check. I'll check later. It's fine. Okay, I should probably finish these marshmallows soon because I am like running out of time. Let's go through these next questions really quickly. Where am I up to? How many do we have left? Oh, we're almost done, actually. Next one says, don't have anything to say really. I just want to say I'm grateful for all your translation work, whether Crossick, PUCHISANJI, or other VTuber content. Thank you very much. I do want to get a bit more like variety as like, especially like this week, for example, like with Crossick, you get like flurries of activity where they'll stay over for a couple nights. You get like 10 hours worth of streams in 2 or 3 days, and then there'll be nothing for like 2 weeks. So, and for me especially, it gets a bit difficult to like kind of curate. This is what I want to show people next. Or like, you know, this is part of the story that I want to kind of share with the world next, because sometimes there just isn't that much, and it feels bad to do things a bit out of order. So sometimes I just choose to not do anything. So that's why. Are you planning to archive this stream or nah? Yes, this stream will have an archive. I'll leave it public for about a week, and it'll go into the unlisted playlist. Okay, last question. I did receive a couple more questions while the stream was live, so I'll go through those as well. Last question that I have in the folder says, hello Jay, I was wondering if you ever thought about doing a translated clip of Melissa Kinrenka. I watch her streams a lot and only understand about 60% of what's being said. I think she has a lot of interesting things to say and stories to tell, and she has an amazing singing voice. I agree, I really love Melissa. Like, I don't watch her too much, but her latest cover is absolute fire. Like, if you haven't heard that yet, go and listen. It is so good. Her Cynical Night Plan cover. So, it came out like 2 days ago, but it is really good. Like, definitely go and listen. I also love her Zatsudan streams as well. They're quite good. But as for whether or not I would translate, I would, but this is kind of one of the things that's on my mind as well. It's like, I've kind of put myself into this position where it's difficult for me to put stuff on my channel that's not related to like Sanbaka or Crossick right now. So I'm like, for example, if I wanted to sub someone from like, let's say like Honeystrap or like Animare, for example, like where would I put that? I wouldn't put that on my channel. So should I just like put it on Twitter, or do I start another channel? Or, and yeah, it's just really, I don't know, it triggers my OCD. Like if I were to like suddenly do like a video that's not really something I've done in the past and just kind of stick it there, and it's surrounded by videos that are like, you know, Crossick or Sanbaka, then it feels out of place. Just condition your viewers to accept it. So, but yeah. Yeah, I transitioned from Sanbaka to Crossick before, and that was a really big thing for me. Like I actually thought about that for ages, whether or not I should actually do that or not, because I was like, oh, people that subscribe to me are expecting like Sanbaka content, so I felt bad for like kind of putting stuff on the channel that's like not what people might have signed up for, which is also why I thought about doing the stream. I thought twice about doing the stream in public as well, because like everyone would have got a notification for this, and it's not a sub video, and people would be like, this isn't what I subbed for. So yeah, You could always ask in the community poll. That's true. That's true. Or like, I could make a sub-channel that does like shorter clips, like, you know, 2-3 minute clips. But then I can just put that on Twitter anyway. But anyway, I'll think about it. So. But yes, Melissa is good. Everyone should watch Melissa. She's really funny. Okay, I'm gonna pick up the final questions that I have in my inbox. Okay, let me just download these first before I download. Okay. TBH, I think the quality of your subs are high enough people will be glad to see more of your work with other VTubers. Really? I wonder. Let's see. This question says, when are you gonna debut as a VTuber? I know some people have been mentioning this, like, so, like, are you gonna be a VTuber yourself, or, I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's a lot simpler than it seems to do, but to me at least, being a VTuber comes with the idea that you actually do things that are expected of kind of like a conventional VTuber, for example. Like, you're expected to stream often, you're expected to play games, you're expected to, you know, do all that kind of stuff. So like, I don't know if it's a good idea for me to, even if I can, for example, like, it's just gonna end up being like something that distracts me from actually putting content that people are expecting me to put out. Like, it's gonna take time away from like translations and stuff like that. Even though like I might think it's more fun, but it'll become like a hobby of a hobby. Like, I have work, for example, and like translation's a hobby, but if I start VTubing, that's gonna be like a hobby to get away from my hobby. It's kind of like a hobby in a hobby, if that makes sense. So and yeah, I don't know. Not to mention that it's actually like pretty expensive to do as well. Like, if you can't draw, for example, and you need to pay someone to draw, or like do the character design for you, and pay someone to do like the live 2D rigging and stuff like that, it's gonna cost you like probably 100,000 yen, which is about $1,000 to do. So, and that's only like a pretty basic avatar. Like, it won't be really polished or anything like that as well. I would say that to get to the level of polish that you get in like NIJISANJI or like LoveLive and stuff like that, you'd be spending like double, triple that. So 2 years later, we see J voice packs. So there are like open source live 2D models, but like you don't wanna be like your own VTuber with an open source model. So your voice is really nice. I can see you being more like a talking podcasting VTuber. So this was something I was thinking about before as well. Like, we see that a lot in JP, where like a lot of VTubers do like that's done and stuff like that, and that's kind of like their main thing. But I haven't paid a lot of attention to, I guess, like English VTubers and what they're doing. Like, obviously, like NIJISANJI ID and stuff like that. Like, they play games and have, you know, cover uploads and stuff like that. But is there any VTuber in English that streams mostly talk, like that's done and stuff like that? I actually don't know. I haven't found any yet. So, but yeah, that's a kind of interesting question to think about, because I wonder if that would actually take off in kind of like the EN space. I haven't touched my beer. I'm gonna drink now. It's still like half full. Okay, next. Now that I think about it, I don't know many English VTubers, right? Like, I reckon they're there, but they might not be on YouTube. I think a lot of them are on Twitch, so. How did you get fluent in Nihongo? I wouldn't say I'm fluent. Like, I have an okay level of Japanese, but I don't think I'm actually like, in the grand scheme of things, like, there are people that are like fluent, like native fluent, and then like, there are people that are okay Japanese. And like, I would say like I'm okay. So, but like I mentioned before, I did go through like formal education for Japanese, like in school and stuff like that. But even leaving school, I was probably only about entry level. Like, if you know JLPT, it goes from like N5, N4, N3, into N1, N1 being the highest. But by the time I left school, I was probably only about N2, N3, and then I actually took the exam for N2 last year, which I passed without really any problems. So I've been thinking about doing N1, probably not the end of this year, but maybe middle next year. So, but yeah. Really, I think you're fluent. Thank you very much. I'm okay. I'm not that fluent. I think I need practice. Like, I need to actually like live in Japan and like really kind of throw myself in the deep end and kind of get myself that kind of extra level of fluency, I think. Okay, next question. And even like, this is back to the previous question, but like even among the translation, I guess the translation circle and stuff like that, there are a lot of people with Japanese that are a lot better than mine. So, and I guess depending on the content that you translate, your Japanese actually doesn't need to be like really, really good to translate, because especially like streamer stuff, a lot of it's really conversational. A lot of it's kind of, you can get away without having a lot of like actual like deep knowledge of Japanese. So that's why I think you see a lot of people kind of picking up subtitling and translating, even though like their Japanese might not be that up to scratch, and you get a lot of kind of subs that are a bit questionable. So exactly, like more important to be good in English. Like if you can get the idea across in English, you can make kind of semi-presentable subs even if you're not actually that good in Japanese. So which is why like you see a lot of people that are translating but their English isn't that good, and sometimes their Japanese isn't that good either, so you get subs that are really questionable, especially recently, because everyone's kind of piling into this VTuber space and translating kind of anything and everything they can get across. So it's kind of like the Wild West of translations at the moment, where things are kind of messy. Not meaning to throw shade, but people translate when they're not good at English. Yeah, unfortunately. But there's a lot to be said about the current state of kind of VTuber translations as a whole. And I guess a lot of it kind of boils down to the fact that the market gets to decide. And even though people that are, I guess, more, I wouldn't say nitpicky, but like more, that pay more attention to like the quality of translations and, you know, whether or not things are actually accurate, are probably the minority at this point in time. Because like you see videos that have really dodgy translations and really dodgy like subtitles that still get, you know, 100,000 views, 10,000 likes and things like that, and like 0 dislikes. And it really makes you wonder whether or not, you know, accuracy of translation is even like a thing anymore. So, but yeah, that's just how it is. That's the state of the market at the moment, and kind of the market that gets to choose, and that's just how it is. And yeah, it's hard to translate the same feeling behind some sentences into English, which is true, which is really true actually. But you get some translation, well, quotation mark translations that are just straight up wrong, which is really not good. Like, yeah, I think a lot of people are jumping into the translation scene without actually having a sense of responsibility that they should have around, like, you're actually kind of putting words into someone's mouth. So like, yeah, even when I translate, a lot of times I'm thinking about whether or not I'm just putting kind of my way of speaking into kind of like their mouths, or is there some other way that I can kind of phrase something so that it sounds a bit more natural in their context or like in their character. But it's really, that's probably the most challenging thing about translating, isn't actually the translation itself, but trying to keep their, I guess, the essence of their character. But that's, yeah. But yeah, will you start a Discord? Probably not. I would say that there are probably enough kind of VTuber Discords going around at the moment. I'm part of I've joined the LoveLive Discord, the LoveLive fan Discord that is, and the NIJISANJI fan Discord as well, but I just use them for emotes really. I don't really chat in them much, so. But yeah. So yeah, someone says, I also feel like the less people know about Japanese, the less they pick up on errors, so it's kind of like a cyclical problem. That's right. That's very true. So that's something that's really important for, I guess, people translating to kind of have an awareness about the responsibility of the fact that you're actually translating for an audience that doesn't understand what's right or wrong. So people that don't have that awareness could either intentionally or unintentionally be misleading people and stuff like that. So, but unfortunately there are people that are in this just for the views and just for the clout. So, but that's just how it is. It is what it is. Yeah, some Homo says, are you a more literal translation guy? Definitely. Like, if you actually read my subtitles, they're very kind of, I would say, like textbook translations. They're kind of flat and kind of dry. Like, there's not a lot of character in my translations, which is good in some ways, but not good in other ways, where it reads really flat and there's not a lot of character in them. But where, if you think about it from like a localization point of view, where you want to in some cases, like if you're localizing a game, for example, like you want to have that character in their text and in kind of their speech. That's something I'm really bad at, and that's something I don't really tend to do. So, but I kind of leverage the fact that at least part of my audience, or like a relatively big part of my audience, has some sort of understanding of Japanese in context, where all they really need is like an extra boost or like an extra little bit of understanding of the language, and then they can kind of piece the things together themselves. So yeah, like if you look at it from like a localization point of view, it's probably really bad, but from a translation view, it probably just like scrapes a mark. But yeah. But yeah, anyway, so there's a lot to be said about the current state of translations, and it makes me wonder as well, because the whole, like if you think about, a lot of people say like this is kind of fan subbing back in like 2005, like it went through the same phase where everyone was piling in, everyone was translating anything like they could get their hands on, and like no one was really caring about quality. But eventually you get to a point where everything is translated. Like every anime episode that comes out is either licensed and translated by the distributor or is subbed by, I don't know, like a fan subgroup. But you'll never quite get to that point when it comes to VTubers. Like you'll never get to a point where like 100% of content is translated. But the problem is, once you get to that point of where everything is translated and people actually get a choice of picking like a bad sub or a good sub, then you get the distinction between, okay, this sub is good, this sub is bad, I'll pick the good sub. But right now, and probably going forward, is you get like, for every minute of sub content that comes out, you get an hour of untranslated content. So it's kind of like you'll never really get a choice between good or bad. You either get the choice of like watching something that's subbed or something that's not subbed, which is kind of dangerous, because you end up in a state where you can only watch bad subs if you want to watch something, which is not that great. So, blog post on this topic? Maybe. We'll see. There used to be fan sub sites that rate subs against each other. Yeah, so. Anyway, let's move on to the next question before it gets too late, because we are now over time. Actually, I didn't even read this question, did I? It says, a big thank you for introducing me to Sugotomo Kombi. You're the first translator I've come across that translates 1 hour worth of content. I'm really grateful for it. Do you think that the content of Sugotomo First Sleepover is going to be translated? I've yet to watch it, but we know it's kind of... I'm definitely not the first person to translate an hour worth of content. Like, there's, I don't know what they're called now, but there was that Bellman fan subs with like unofficial channel or something like that did like 2 hours, like 3 hours worth of content, like in multiple times. So that guy's really amazing. He does a lot of good work. Not that I've seen it myself, but I just know that he's done really long videos. Kurogitsune, that's right. So, yeah. Yeah, it was like 1 hour and 24 minutes was the latest one I did. It was a stretch, but it's something that I reckon is quite doable if you pace yourself. Like if you are like, okay, I'll do 5 minutes a day or like 10 minutes a day, it's actually quite doable, and you can finish that in like 2 weeks without much stress. But in that instance, because I kind of wanted to get it out really quickly, like I finished it in about 5 to 6 days. But yeah, that's kind of my pace. But yeah, so am I gonna do the first sleepover? I actually have part of that ready. So like kind of as soon as the first sleepover finished, I was like, I gotta sub this, like I need to share this with the world. But then I had a lot of reservations about doing that, because at the time everyone knew it was really racy and everyone knew that it was really kind of like not expected, and I was really conflicted about doing this because I didn't want to do it and kind of put it out there only for them kind of like the next weekend to say, actually, yeah, that was a mistake, we're not actually gonna be a couple, like, you know, we're never gonna talk about that again, because I would have felt like I played a part in spreading something that they didn't want to spread. So that's why I didn't sub it straight away. And at the same time, there's that, and as well as this, the image of that stream is really kind of, you know, it paints them in a certain light, which I kind of didn't want to take the responsibility of doing. Someone else did that anyway, as they would, kind of straight away. When I was still thinking about it, someone else had already subbed it, with, you know, the clickbait titles of like, you know, kissing, licking, biting, whatever, right? But that was something that was on my mind as well. So I was like, I wanted to kind of wait a bit and see how they treat each other, like how their relationship actually develops. Like, are they gonna say, actually, yeah, we're gonna start dating now, and then I'll be like, okay, fine, this is fair game? Or if they were gonna be like, oh, we're never gonna talk about that ever again, then yeah. So that was why I didn't sub it straight away. But I do have something ready for it. It's 55 minutes long. I'll probably do it during an anniversary or something like that. We'll see. I haven't really picked the time of when I would do that yet, but yeah. Let's see. Sorry, sorry if this was already asked earlier. Are you a huge Yuri fan? I wouldn't say I'm a huge Yuri fan, like, but I do like, I guess, Yuri in general, I guess. But like, I don't go out of my way to like read Yuri, you know, manga and stuff like that, but yeah, anyway. Okay, this is the final question, so we are gonna finish after this. It says, hey Jay, been enjoying your translations ever since the Sanbaka times until the current Tomoe Square Gay Festival. The content output kind of reminds me of Soviet wombles. Once every full moon, but always worth the wait. Thank you. Also, if I may ask, what's your current opinion on Inuyama Tamaki's TL striking spree paranoia a few months, I believe, back? So, first of all, thank you for the comment, and thank you for the gay festival and Soviet womble mention. I don't believe Inuyami. Oh my god, it's so hard to read when there's that line break in like the most inconvenient spot. Inuyama Tamaki. I don't believe that she's still, or he is still striking videos actively. There was that kind of big scare a couple of months back when a bunch of LoveLive members got demonetized. And even though that the cause wasn't 100% apparent, there were people saying that, even like, you know, Matsuri and stuff like that themselves, saying that it could be because people were making Kirunuki doga that were just kind of clips from like time A to time B, without any edits, without any added value, and that was kind of the main thing. But if I remember correctly, there was also a point relatively recently where Tamaki said himself on stream that, like, if it's a translated video where you know, you've actually added something to the video, like you've added subtitles to the video, you've added value to the video, then it's not really the type of video that they're targeting to kind of strike with a copyright claim and stuff like that. So I would be, if it was me, like, I'd be relatively comfortable with subbing Tamaki videos at this point in time. That's my opinion. Actually, a good friend of mine who started subbing VTubers recently, if you're into LoveLive stuff, you might have seen his channel. His channel is called Blub Subs. space V. So he subbed something that had Tamaki content recently as well. So, and he seems to be fine. So that's kind of my, I guess, my example there. So yeah, it seems that people in chat do know Blub. So he's a really good translator. He makes videos at a rate much faster than I do. So definitely check him out if you're into LoveLive stuff. Janita says, I really want to tell you thanks because you introduced me to VTubers when I was in really bad conditions. Thank you so much, I love you. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much for watching. Blub has a new channel? Yes, he does. He has a new channel as of like a couple of days ago. I think he's only been doing this for like a week and he already has like 5 videos. Meanwhile, I've been doing this for like a year and I have 15 videos. So, yeah. Yeah, he's got like 2,000 subscribers already, so good on him. Okay. Anyway, that's the last of the Marshmallow questions that we had today. What time is it? So it is, we've been on stream for 1 hour, 22 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'll probably stay on stream for another 2.5 minutes. So if anyone's got any last minute questions, feel free to throw them in chat and I'll read them out and maybe answer them. That haiku championship was great. Yeah, and not to mention that he actually went through the effort of actually trying to localize the I guess the haiku as well, which takes quite a bit of effort. So major props to him for doing that. When is the next stream? I don't really have plans to do a next stream. I didn't really know if anyone's gonna like this stream or not. So how many people watching? 76 people watching was pretty good. So do you guys want a next stream? Or like what do you want me to do on next stream? When is 3D reveal? I don't even have 2D yet. I just saw a question that I want to read. Who's the artist that did your avatar? So my avatar actually comes from a site where you can generate kind of avatars like this or icons like this. It's called Picrew. So if you Google that, you'll get like kind of templates and stuff like that. You can pick like, I want this hairstyle, I want kind of this skin color and stuff like that. You can make your own avatar. So that's what you can use. Correct, Picrew. So you can probably make one that looks exactly like mine. Let me just shill Hano and Kotoha. So the couple that I mentioned, not couple, but like the pair I mentioned before, they sing for Honeyworks. They are really good singers. They've been living together for a couple months now. Whether or not they're actually a couple, I don't know, but I would definitely advise checking them out because they're really cute. So, face reveal. You don't want to see my face. Trust. Trust. Utawaku stream. You don't want to hear me sing either. Collab stream with Blub. I could totally do that, actually. Sleepy chatting stream. Yeah, I might do something on Twitcast. We'll see. And with Hanokoto song, I'll get copyright struck and I'll probably die. Okay, so it's been 1 hour 25 minutes. Thank you very much for everyone that chose to kind of tune into the stream today. It was kind of rocky at the start, I admit, before I kind of got to relax thanks to alcohol, but yeah, we made it in the end. So thank you once again for tuning in. It's been a long 1.5 hours, and I may or may not catch you next time. We'll see. We'll see. I might jump onto Twitcast at some point in time, so if you don't follow me on Twitter, good idea to follow me on Twitter and get updates from me that way. I am working on a video for Crossick, which will hopefully be out by next weekend. The content of that will be around their parents. So that's kind of the next part. That's what I see as the next kind of big step is, and they've kind of been hinting towards that as well, that they would like to eventually meet each other's parents. So that's what I want to do next. All right. Yes, parents. Okay. Oh, we don't have like an Otsukai-sama like greeting. Let's do What's J さん What's J さんBut yeah. Alright. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I will see you guys maybe next time. What's J さん